this lifetime where I need to warm up for things.
Yeah. So one thing I like to ask you, ladies, what is your mindset when you're dealing with, especially after the shows? I know there's talk about post-show blues, after-show blues. Dealing with, when you're on that stage and you see yourself conditioned and you're shredded and you're top shape. What's your mindset when you are, you hadn't competed since 2023,
Hmm.
and right now you're planning on compete. What do you feel like when you are after the shows and before the shows? Are you as a competitor?
Well, I think for me the hardest part and something I had to really kind of like realize that I did was, I got my pro card and I said, okay, what's next? Like I didn't really stop to celebrate. Like this is especially at, at nationals in Texas, like this is a big deal and I should be proud of myself. And honestly, I really it was very like short-lived that I felt any sort of pride. And then, as you navigate post show, prior to this last show, it was more of like the regrets of like, hey, I wasn't big enough, or hey, I could have been a little leaner, or hey, this, and this. But this last show, I had a major change with clinics I was working at. I was transitioning to working with this new hand surgeon, and I had about 6 weeks of downtime between clinics and work, and so you have all this time to kind of sit in your feels, and you're not working and distracting yourself. So for me, the post show blues honestly were really, really intense. And the best way that I managed it, I was super transparent with Justin, like, hey, I'm really struggling. And then my girlfriend was super supportive, and so I had this little community around me that was really great to rely on and talk these things out. But honestly, the best way to mitigate those post show blues is to jump back into your routine, set out your goals like, hey, this is going to be my plan. This is what we're doing moving forward. And then first and foremost, just trying to get healthy again. Shows take a huge toll on your body. So if you just prioritize health and then, you set those kind of short term to long term goals, and you have something to work towards again, I think that that's a great way to kind of mitigate that.
That's good. That's good. You had a plan. My other guy, he works like this. I don't have a plan. I'm just dog chasing cards. If I get one, I know what to do with it. That's how it is. But oh yes, you have to have a plan. You understand? But I'm just an agent
Yeah,
of chaos and anarchy. Because you know what? We get to the sport. Most people, and I always say this: the everyday person think about bodybuilding. It's like I just take steroids and just build this muscle and yada yada and yada yada. No, this is what it is. You have to have plans. You have to have, you understand, you have to have discipline,
hmm
consistency, follow a diet, work on the things like your strengths and your weaknesses.
hmm
There's so much more involved with it. I have ladies who tell me, guys who have become friends who are pros, say, George, if they took the shit I took, the gear I took, they wouldn't look as good as me because if they not follow the plan they're giving, they didn't follow the diet, do the rest day, do their cardio, lift this, lift that. If they don't do all that work, you're not going to look like on stage what you see there. You're just going to look like something different. You know.
Yeah, I think
Go ahead.
naturally as humans, our minds and our bodies are designed to be as efficient as humanly possible. We want to do the smallest amount to elicit the greatest response. So I think sometimes, and especially, in the female mind, we kind of are able to override that a little bit because we know, it's just, biology. We are not going to accumulate tissue like men, no matter what. And so I think a lot of times, like, men can have this attitude that, hey, like, I can, push that, 70, 65% and still look great. And honestly, I see a lot of guys that do, and they look great. You see the elite and some of the top pros around, and, they're able to override that and they look the way they look because of that. So I think, women just, we tend to override that, hey, we want to do as little as possible. A lot, especially in these more muscular divisions, we want to full send our sets.
Yeah. One lady who I'm a fan of that represents bodybuilding, and I have this issue, and a friend of mine got it for me a while back. Is Andrea Shaw. I love her,
Absolutely. The
and
goat.
this is why I do this content. I like to pull this out because, as the other guy says, hey, goodness, I've never do it free. She took the time off. She signed this for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
A friend of mine was at the Olympia back in 2023, and she was there, and she talked to her, and she mentioned me, and we were talking about it. And everybody's not going to be the Andreas or the other competitors. If you don't follow the plan, you don't follow the system, you don't follow what your trainers
Mhm.
working with you.
Yeah,
Genetics is one thing, but sometimes you have to put in the hard work. Like
absolutely.
we have a comment here from a man. This is from Little Twilight. He says, "Do you still do things like push-ups, pull-ups, or nah?"
Well, I have not done push-ups necessarily as much as I would say prior. I think calisthenics, so like body weight exercises, I think they have a place for everybody. I just think from a muscle building standpoint, or from like any sort of like a stimulus to that, to your pecs. I think the some of the machine that put you in that push up plane, kind of where we have that horizontal push. I think sometimes those are just more efficient. Pull ups, we're still working in that frontal plane, so right here, and we're using our body weight essentially. And so I still use pull-ups, but push-ups I just haven't, I've gotten away from, for a multitude of reasons. Like I said, one, I like loading weight better on the horizontal pressing machines. And two, you can create so many issues with your shoulders when it comes to push-ups. So risk worth versus reward. I just push-ups just for me aren't functional.
Yeah, I can tell you about this because a while back I went to see my orthopedics and he told me I have a tear right here in this shoulder here. And I
Oh,
was having really,
nice.
yeah, a little tear. And right here I have like a spur right about here. Years of heavy working, lifting,
Yeah, for sure.
doing man's work, you know. But yeah, it can be a wear tear. It's good to find alternatives to help you in your process.
Mhm.
That's why we go back to the injury thing. So this is a question I like to ask you, ladies, and I often ask y'all, particular thing, because I'm a particular type of villain. What is that thing you wanted the most? Especially you just did nationals and you just been on prep and you're hungry and you're dehydrated. What was that thing, lady, that you wanted the most? That thing that
Oh
you
my God.
desire?
Well, the first thing I
Ah.
wanted was like a half a gallon of water. Like I wanted to slam. I didn't, I slammed probably about 1,000 milliliters. Like that's the first thing. I always make sure I hydrate after. And then I really, Justin was like, "Hey, I know we had a really hard prep. I would appreciate if you didn't do sugar." And so I sat there and I'm like, I get it. I totally get where you're coming from, Justin, but like I love ice cream so much. There's this donut place by, in Seattle area in Washington, we're known for our coffee and stuff. So of course donuts too. And I went to this donut shop and got the donut and then got a thing of Ben and Jerry's and cut a sliver out of the Ben and Jerry's and made like a sandwich. And that's like all that I wanted. Like I have great self-restraint, but I love sugar. And so I did sushi, I did all that stuff. I think, did I do a burger? I don't even, I think I didn't, I think I did eggs Benedict for breakfast, but I just wanted that donut ice cream sandwich. That was like all I
Yeah.
wanted.
Donut ice cream. Ooh, that sounds like a like day. I might try that
Right.
one of these days. I
You
don't know.
honestly try it. Go get a Krispy Kreme, find your favorite ice cream, and then just make a sandwich.
I know there's a Chris Street place in Fayetteville. That's like about 45, 50 miles from where I stay at. But I can go to the local store and get it. But yeah, I mean, sugar, I gotta be careful. I'm pre-diabetic because it's in my family. My
Oh, so you
mother
gotta be
had it.
careful. Okay, for
Yeah, I
sure.
gotta be careful. It be calling me, man. Be calling me like crap. I said like crap. And one thing I'll say like this, I keep saying this to people, and when anytime I hear like say, I love sushi, hell no. I grew up poor. Last thing I want to eat is
Is
cold raw
sushi.
fish. No. Cold raw fish, no. No.
No, sir.
Never. Never. Man, I'm from the South. We don't believe in that. We cook
No, I'll
our
say you
food
guys
our
don't
own
do
way.
sushi.
Well, I know some people do sushi here around here, but just not me. That's not
Okay,
never
for
me.
sure.
Yeah. So like we working out, what's that thing you love the most about working out? The thing you like, oh my God, I don't want to do this, you just
I kind of like, and I mean, every single major fitness person has always said, you can mentally override what your body can physically do. And I think I like it's almost just like a high, like when especially you're doing like a heavy set and you feel your body's like about to fail, you can literally talk yourself out of that. And I think that's just so empowering. And that's kind of my favorite part is like I have a really hard day, or like it was a really heavy day of patience, and I just go like, I can do hard things. And, before those top sets, like I can do this. Like this is hard, but I can do this. And then getting to that number that I was shooting for, or getting close to that number, is just the greatest feeling. And then, if, I'm supposed to do this heavy hack squat set for, 8, and I only get 6 or 7, I ruminate on that until the next week when I get to try it again. And then when I go try it again and I have that extra fire and I'm able to complete it, like it feels so amazing that something I couldn't do last week, like I can do this week.
Yeah, it's kind of like I like one thing. My favorite movie is the Rocky series. And Rocky says, no matter how much you think you can hit, how much you take the hit, keep moving forward. Because life can
Yep.
beat you down and
Yep.
bring you to your
Exactly.
knees. And it's
Yeah.
good to it's good to find out what how far you can go, how far it can take. Go to the
Absolutely.
next level. So now the plan is to compete for 2025.
Yep.
And you're gonna do physique, right?
Yes, that's the plan right now. I don't foresee going back to figure. When I was backstage at nationals and Sandy was back there giving us feedback, I asked, I said, okay, like the $1 million question, like what are your thoughts, like physique, figure? And she said they really loved me in physique, which I honestly was kind of surprised. I mean, we just kind of did physique because it was fun. And I think that was kind of the secret to it is, figure, I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself for nationals, especially for figure. I hadn't competed in 2 years. This was kind of like my revenge season, my comeback, and physique was just fun. So I mean, I think that's kind of the secret, even as a pro. Like I'm just I'm looking forward to potentially prepping because I just want to have fun.
Yeah, you gotta love this because you know what? Most people wouldn't want to get into sport because, as again, here I can talk about this. This sport is a very expensive hobby sport. It's not like
Yes,
any other
definitely.
sport. Like think about it. If you can do major league, softball, you can make a living off of that.
Yeah, to
Or
a
even
degree.
to a
Still
degree.
kind of, yeah, to a degree.
Yeah, but then softball is more known. You can go watch it on
Yes,
ESPN. You
totally.
can't. Bodybuilding used to be on ESPN, but you don't even see that anymore.
No, not
And
at all.
yeah, and the cost of it for y'all ladies because you have to wear the bedazzled suits. You have
Mhm.
to have hair. You have a lot of hair and makeup done, and the
Yes.
tanning. When for the guys, they have expenses too, like the foods and everything else, and also supplements. But they just got to wear a pair of banana hammocks and boy shorts. That's it.
Yeah, they literally roll out of bed. Like we have to get up at like, like 2:45 or 3 in the morning to get our hair and makeup done, to get our tans, and like they literally can just roll out of bed, they get another lap of tan and they're ready to go on stage.
Yeah,
Like
and the hair don't have to do anything unless you just
no.
have a little mousse in it or shave it and just hair on
Yep.
out. Just
And
it's so
just go
easy for
on
us
out.
guys. It's
Yep.
easy for us guys. This is the old term. Just shit, shirt, and shave. That we're out. Y'all ladies
That's
have to
literally
really,
it. Yep.
yeah, yeah. I know your girlfriend be in there and say she's like, oh my god, what's taking forever? I'm ready to go. Just give
Yeah.
me 5 more minutes, baby. It's 2.5
Yep,
hours later.
exactly. Well,
Yeah,
I'm lucky. So she's the very detail oriented one. I am the one that like if we're looking on Amazon, I'll look and go, yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna buy it. Where she'll look at the reviews and she'll do research. So I appreciate she's very attentive to detail and she's a hairdresser, so I get my hair done for free, which is nice. And she spends a lot of time on my hair when we're before the show. So I think the qualifier, we did something really different with my hair, and she's like, "Hey, that literally took like 3 hours. We can't do that again."
yeah,
So
yeah,
so I'm lucky that she kind of grounds me and she keeps me in check, like, "Hey, no, this needs to take time. Like we can't
yeah.
just rush."
Yeah, it's a good thing that you have that because you know what?
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially in the sport, it's tough to be in a relationship because
Oh, for sure.
this sport can take a lot out of you. It's
Hmm.
mentally, physically, financially, emotionally draining.
Yeah.
I've interviewed a couple of ladies that they said their husband divorced them because they got into bodybuilding because
Yeah.
they were changing, the aspects of what it is to be feminine. Because a purpose, and this is how I like this. Men's purpose is to build, battle, and breed. That's it.
Hmm.
Women, you are nurturers. You take care of our children. You
Yeah.
raise our families. You're the ones we lean on when we need it. But then when you're like a couple, like I know quite a few couples who are both bodybuilders, and sometimes prep can be tough.
Yeah.
It's good that she's there to to be your foil, to help you settle, to bring you down to earth. Where
Yeah, for sure.
this sport can really mess you up mentally and physically.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I see both sides of the coin when it comes to, bodybuilders getting divorced. There are some where I truly feel like a lot of times bodybuilding can help really empower people, whether it's, the man or the woman, like it kind of helps create this new set of confidence that they might not have had. And they're becoming this best version of themselves. However, their significant other is not wanting to grow with them. They want to kind of keep them in this box. But then I see the other side where, some people get into bodybuilding and they kind of act like, they're the best, the best thing since sliced bread, and like they're better than their spouse and they're better than everybody. And they do, you know, destruct or destroy their marriage. So I think, it's never an excuse when you're on prep to be, any sort of way to your significant other. And I'm really lucky, and I think communication has been such a big soundboard, hey, like I just don't have the bandwidth today, I'm really tired. And keeping the communication really close. But yeah, I mean, I was divorced, and it was kind of the same thing. I found this new voice and this new sense of self-confidence, and my ex-wife couldn't handle it, and so here I am.
Oh, well, that's tough. Sometimes, there's times that this sport can either strengthen relationship or it can maybe find the cracks in it.
Yeah,
And if that thing, especially for women, you're supposed to be in this certain little box instead,
totally.
you're supposed to be the homemaker, you're supposed to be that, not the, like, with some ladies who I know who have kids, your mom's pumping up, say, hey, your mom's stronger than your dad. And I think like in some relationships, it can be a bit, daunting because you're seeing this person that you used to be with changing. And
Mhm.
sometimes you either have to either change with them or, just, we lift back. Either you evolve. Here's how I basically say it like this: you either evolve or become extinct. That's the choice you
Totally.
have. Yeah. We
And I
got.
think it truly
Go ahead.
comes down to, as well as, the just the concept of unconditional love. Like in retrospect, I think that's kind of like, hey, it's the conditional love of, hey, you need to fit this certain box, or you need to be in this box for me to love you. And really what it should be with, your partner who's a bodybuilder is like, I love you no matter what you do. Of course, that bodybuilder needs to treat their partner with respect and love, even if they're hungry and irritable, but there should be a component of unconditional love with that.
hmm Here we got a comment from man KL. Shout out to him. Thank you for supporting me, brother, and sticking in here. He says, "You look like you could be on my top five."
Dog, I don't even know what that means. I'm
I
sorry. I don't
don't
even know what that means.
yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, he might be thinking, he does content also on bodybuilding. I think he just did an interview today with a lady who's also,
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
No worries,
yeah,
man.
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can be a little weird at times, but
Yeah, of
yeah,
course. That's no worries.
yeah. But understanding the sport is a tough thing about it, especially
Yeah, for sure.
outside. I know I've talked to ladies, friends, and relationships have changed, and still it's good to have support of your
Yeah.
family, your friends, your girlfriend, your
Hmm.
coach. It's necessary, it's needed because this sport, as I said again, can be a lot for any
Yeah, for
person.
sure.
Because here I keep this is why I say like this. When we like us, like I'm an outsider. I'm not a competitor. I'm a guy who does content about your ladies. And
Hmm.
I have a crime again. I'm a muscle Paris smile. And we go to the shows and we see y'all, men and women up on the stage. We see these bodies,
Hmm.
great shape, vascularity, all that. But we don't understood what we don't understand what took you back there. The diet, the training, the
Hmm.
hydration, being hungry, so much to this. We see these amazing bodies, with just on this walk around the stages, but we don't understand the so much this risk that you put into the sport. And it's again
Yeah,
for y'all
for sure.
women, you have to love this sport because you know what? There's not as much benefits to get out there. If you're lucky enough, if you're like the top competitors, you can do make a really good living in it, but the everyday person, you got to find ways. So you got a good job, you got a good income, try to find ways to save because you want to compete for the next season, take a break and rest. And some people have to do ways to find other ways to make income. So, but it's there's so much that's to the sport that I think people need to understand, educate themselves about it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, my college teammates when I first got into it, they're like, "Well, like, that's cool. Like, what would you say the biggest difference is?" And and this is for anybody, listening. We a lot of us, played football or track or, whatever sport we did. When we went to practice, we locked in at practice and then we could leave it at practice until, the next game or the next practice, whatever. When you're hungry, you can't turn that off. Like you're always hungry, you're always tired. And you can't, like, yes, you could in theory fix it, hey, I'll sleep, or hey, I'll eat. But a lot of times, like, especially like you said, the sport's expensive. We all, for the most part, have jobs. Like we have such a small window of time throughout the day that like we don't turn that off. Like we can't turn the hunger off. Like we could, in college when I had a bad practice, I could leave it at practice, go to bed, and it'd be a new day and it was fine.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much involved in it. Like, know, are you right now having sponsorships? Anybody reach out to being sponsored?
I am a BioXL athlete. They are an HRT company that's based out in Florida. I believe there's multiple owners, but one of the main ones, DT Roth, I work with pretty closely. It's just essentially a company that works very closely with you. They have a doctor on staff that kind of helps you get your blood work done. You talk about specific goals you have, whether it's HRT or peptides. And they get you set up with not only, the HRT stuff or the peptides, but high quality stuff that has been prescribed and, has gone through the necessary steps through the pharmacy and things like that. So, especially for myself in a rehab setting for work, the peptides for me have been such a big thing to talk about with, BPC 157 and TB 500. They essentially are kind of the holy grail of rehabbing soft tissue disorders and helping heal people way faster.
That's pretty good. That's good. I mean, most people would just say, okay, I just take this and take that. I'll be okay. But it's good that you have a doctor on call to help you out with your
Yeah,
blood work. That's the most important thing about, especially with y'all women. Women and men are biologically different. We might
totally.
have the same organs like that, but it's that what separates is our biology. Women, you have natural higher BMI than men. Men have
Mhm.
more natural testosterone. Y'all have more natural estrogen, and you need that testosterone to help you build that muscle. That's why steroids, everything's just only a small factor to it, but it's
Totally.
an important part of development as an athlete. So, but
Yeah,
that's good that you have sponsors because you know what? There'll be guys out there say, "Hey, lady, I saw you, yeah, 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 Greek goddess, if you
exactly.
wanna, yeah, no, 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 no. This is why I keep doing this, and I do this because it's an example where what I would like to see is very professional people saying, Miss Politis, we are so, interested in you. You have just a great personality, a great spirit, your history, your passion for bodybuilding, your work in the medical field. We would like to offer you a position as a sponsored athlete. So if you like,
Exactly.
yeah, if you like our product and it feels like something you can use in your process or you might need, or you just feel comfortable with what we are providing, just let us know. And we'll set everything up for you and we'll help you in your process as a professional athlete.
Absolutely. And, I mean, I always think about, we kind of decide how we want to present ourselves on social media. And I've never been the one that wants to be, super revealing on Instagram. It's just not who I am. I've always wanted to be the intellect. And, we do have, very, very talented people when it comes to, biomechanics and exercise selection and programming. I look at like Luke Miller, who's with John Jewett. And he's such a force, and that's kind of like what I want to present to the bodybuilding community is I want to be that, rehab specialist. Someone messages me, hey, this is really hurting, like what do you think? And that's kind of what I've been doing with DT, who's with BioXL. He had some crazy shoulder issues, and we just kind of worked together to mitigate and take him through different phases of rehab so that he could, push and go full send, and not let his shoulder hold him back. So, that's always been kind of my goal is I want those to look at me as, not just a female with a ton of muscle, but as an intellect as well.
Well, I respect your mind, man, but as a muscle person mode, I can't help
Absolutely.
but your
Absolutely.
body.
Hey,
Ah,
my
ah.
photographer my photographer got some good angles. Pat Bangley is amazing.
Yeah, he does some good work. I mean,
Yeah.
you ever want to ever work with someone else? Like one guy I interviewed a while back, he is great. He's one of the top guys photographing women in bodybuilding. That's Sean Nelson. He's really good.
Oh yeah,
Also, yeah,
he's super talented as a photographer. You know, and again, another thing about me, like loyalty, and I know this obviously like nationally, you know, you travel and stuff, and of course, you know, if I were to ever make it to the Olympia, and Sean's based in Vegas, of course, but you know, Pat has been out here in Seattle, has been so good to me, and him and I have become such good friends. It would honestly feel weird to have anyone else photograph or film me besides him. You know, I'm not against the idea, but you know, when you have someone that's, you know, not only professionally you have a good relationship with, but is also a good friend, you know, you want to stick with that.
yeah, respect for that.
But
He told me doing an interview, the one person he would love to photograph if he had the opportunity to that is Brooke Walker. Brooke is signed with
oh
HQ.
yeah,
Brooke has
yeah,
a beautiful physique, great line, just
yeah,
all American girl look. I felt like she should have won.
absolutely.
I think she should have won in 2022, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I'm just
she looked that was kind of the posing routine I watched, honestly, when I was deciding the individual from that year from the Olympia. That's what I watched when I was trying to learn poses and stuff like that. And that's kind of I was like, wow, like this looks great. Like I think I can do this.
well, it's good that you understand the factors of it, because most people they don't understand what it takes to what's involved with being a bodybuilder, the work, the
Yeah.
consistency, the patience, the discipline, sometimes get up early in the morning to go training, to
Uh-huh.
eating because same food every other day, and just the work that's involved in it. And doing this content, and I often say like this, I get to learn something for
Yeah.
myself. Because one point I was almost 500 pounds. And I keep telling the story because it's a true
Oh
story.
wow.
So I took care of I took care of my mom for a long time. She was sick. I was taking care of her, and food was a comfort. And doing this content about you ladies also was something that helped me my mindset, because I
Mhm.
needed to do something, because dealing with her stuff, it was a lot, and my brothers and sisters were doing their thing. And no offense to them, but still, someone's had to be here because my mother was my woman, and
Yeah,
I
for
stood by
sure.
her. And when she passed, I said, you know what, I don't have anything else but me. And I sat down, so I was like, I was like, wow, I got really big. What it was, the food and everything else, and then and I said, you know what, I got to make some changes. And talking with you ladies, and some ladies who were like myself, who was overweight. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I just started working out at home, and then I was going to the gym for a
Yeah.
while, but then my knees are bothering me. I got some setbacks, and it's hard to travel when you got a car in the shop. I got to get it out. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
real.
yeah. And I learned a lot when doing this, and I do appreciate the time I get to talk to you ladies.
Yeah, for sure.
One day I would love to. This is my dream. I would love to talk to Andrea because I love her. But you know what? I enjoy talking to someone like yourself. I just talked to a young lady also turned pro last year at the nationals, and people like Michelle and
Mhm.
so many other competitors in this division. Like I said, you know, I respect what y'all ladies do. And also, as I said again, I am a muscle person. I just love y'all. Just you excite me. But I do respect your commitment and passion for this sport. And I wish, this is why I said I wish there was more benefits to it, financially wise, where
Yeah.
now you're a pro. You're paying like 275 a year for this card. I wish there was more benefits to it. Like if you
Yeah.
get hurt or get injured, you're taken care of. If you like my friend, he's IFBB Pro. We do a podcast together. Must Talk Money. We do it tomorrow. He used to play for the NFL for 7 years.
Mhm.
He still gets a pension from it because he put in during the
Yep.
time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's yep.
Yeah. I just really respect what y'all do. And also, I'm still learning so much when doing this content, doing interviews. Like guys like me and David, KL, the other guys who do a lot of content, you ladies, we really learn something. And we enjoy talking with y'all and understanding, and like I said again, we just are just fans, not just of of your bodies, yes, but also of your commitment and your passion, you know. I think like any guy, we see a woman, we get attracted, but once you get to know to her and understand her mind, who she is, that's a great thing. That's like any relationship. Like you and your
Mhm.
girlfriend. She probably met you, say, "Hey, I think she's cute," and then you got to know each other, and y'all really now are together, and you're starting your own family. That's good for you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely no kids. We have a cat. That's our child. And that's it. No kids.
Well,
I'm doing the world a favor and I'm not procreating. We don't need another Eleni in the world.
No, no, I have no children either. My oldest sister, she keeps saying, "We ain't gonna have a baby. We gonna need, we need to get a baby." I'm 50 years old now. If the window is shut for me. All she wants to do is to me have a baby so she can spoil it. Most
Of
of her nieces and
course.
nephews are grown and they have babies. She's a grandmother. She's not. She was one point. She was almost going to be a great grandmother till my great nephew, his girlfriend had a miscarriage, but it's going to
Uh-huh.
happen someday. He's still a young man. My youngest nephew, he has 8 kids. She's happy. He's about to have another 10th, and
Wow.
it's good that that you found yourself in this sport, found
Yeah,
yourself a
definitely.
passion, and with your relationship with your coach and your relationship with your family and friends, that's good because I know they told me that it's tough, especially you don't have nobody in your corner and people,
Yeah.
making comments and just like the everyday guy saying like you just got a little muscle, you trying to be like me, trying to be a man. No, no, she's not trying to be a man. She's an athlete, been an athlete since
Yep,
most of your
just an
life,
athlete.
and you love what you do because you gotta love what you do in the sport.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for me specifically too, like, from the mental conditioning stuff we did in college, like, if I think I'm pretty lucky. I haven't had the volume of negative comments I think like some of my fellow competitors have. Like, I just don't like, short-term memory blinders, like I don't even pay attention to it. So, they're not worth the energy. And I really I don't think I ever realized, a lot of people will come up to me at the gym or like, tell me at work, like a patient or whatever, like you guys are such inspiration